Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 4 of Nuclear Earth Reirradiated. Between yesterday and today, the pack has been updated, mostly minor changes, but it's addressed the exploit I mentioned last time with Blast Furnace making a lot of steel from your iron by doing the door thing. Some other minor things, I'm sure we'll get there when we get there. Anyways, another thing that's happened is I've wolfed down like 2 stacks of glow shrooms. So I made myself a gluttony charm. It's pretty simple. It's just a whole bunch of gold, well, 8 gold ingots, and then it lets you inhale mushrooms. So that lets us bring our radiation down quite low, and in fact, I'm even not being affected by weakness anymore. It's been a while since I've not had the weakness debuff. We can go out and like smack something. I do think I need to farm some mobs in the relatively near future, but we'll do that later. For now, I think my first goal today would actually be to get started with the environmental tech void miners. So the tier 1 void miner is not particularly expensive, uses a fair bit of iron and this like litherite stuff. Can be crafted, uses diamonds and flint, and nothing too bad. But we have to run a tier 1 miner for quite a while before we can upgrade it to tier 2. And oh, the tier 2 upgrade has been changed. Wow, we can't even upgrade it to tier 2 at all until we have Astral Sorcery lenses. But the tier 1 miner can get us access to emeralds. It takes 20 seconds per ore for it to mine, so like it's quite inefficient. However, because the tier 1 void ore miner can get us emeralds, I can then reinvest those emeralds into the lens of the miner, which should allow us to make more resources more cheaply. And honestly, slow but automated production of resources is better than manually mining, right? So let's make that. And do I have a book? This is the documentation book for environmental tech, and it tells us all the blocks I need. So let's see. Yeah, it's 20 seconds per, and we need 24 frames, 20 panels, yada yada yada. In order to make these litherite crystals, I'm going to need green dye. I think the easiest way to get this is from cactus. So may as well start growing cactuses, right? Now, to grow cactus, easiest way I can imagine to do that is in a garden close, which has a default recipe, which is nice. However, there's one small hiccup. The blueprint to make the vacuum tubes, these crafting components, requires aluminum ingots, and aluminum requires, for now, a blast furnace of 1700 degrees or 1700 heat or more. None of the other aluminum processing things are available to us quite yet. So right now our blast furnace is 1520. That means to get it to 1700, we have to follow the quest here. We can upgrade it either by using better coils. I don't know if this quest is new or not, but if it is, I'm glad this has additional information in it. So 9 reinforced casings gets us to 1700. Afterwards, apparently you can right-click higher tier coils on it to also increase its temperature. So you have higher tier coils and higher tier casings as ways to increase your blast furnace heat. But anyways, for now, that means I need 9 of the reinforced casings. These reinforced casings craft in batches of 4, so to make the minimum of 9, I had to make 12. And I swapped them out. I also forgot to put the lava back in. With that, our blast furnace should be a hair over 1700 degrees, which should let us process aluminum in it. Yep, 1760. Alright, so step 1, plug it in. I don't know how much energy it uses exactly. I hope that's enough, although it's conceivable that it won't be. So that gives it energy. And then as for aluminum, I think we can only dig up bauxite ore. But if we pulverize bauxite ore, we should get aluminum dust. The industrial grinder actually gets us ore bauxite. Wait, that gets us bauxite dust, which then has to be processed. But processing bauxite dust, that way gets us titanium. Alternatively, I'm pretty sure there's a way to just get aluminum. What are the ways to directly get aluminum? Then we can hammer it for 1. It's not a great deal. Looks like the Actual Editions Crusher is the way to go for now. It gives us 2 ores per, whereas if we do it through this, let's just check it. I believe that gives us... Oh, it does give us 4 bauxite dust. Oh, but this is, again, bauxite has to be processed more. Do I have an industrial electrolyzer? I probably have one somewhere. Yeah, whatever. I don't need a ton of aluminum. Just need a couple pieces. So, oh wait, this is giving me bauxite as well. I've been lied to. Oh, it does say bauxite. Wait a second, but if I look at aluminum dust, I'm not crazy. It says, see? Here. Oh, that's the other bauxite ore. That's ore aluminum. So I guess there's probably no way around no trivial way to turn bauxite. I guess, no, doing it this way, we get 1 aluminum per. Okay, we're making an industrial grinder. I don't have an industrial grinder, do I? I have a couple industrials. Let's see. Electrolyzer and centrifuge. No grinder. If memory serves me right, the industrial grinder does also require a multi-block to function. Yeah, and I think it goes down a layer as well. We can just consult the last book here. So 8 reinforced casings and 18 standards. Oof, that's a lot of iron. I might not have enough, might have to go mining. Just barely had enough iron to pull it off. So anyways, here's our grinder. We got to reuse the casings from the blast furnace that we had upgraded, which was nice. It needs power and a fluid. So there's 3 fluids you can give it, either water, mercury, or sodium persulfate. The higher tier it is, the more stuff you tend to get, like when processing. Well, it works for this type of gold. If you use water, you get 2. If you use sodium persulfate, you get 2 but more secondaries, and if you use mercury, you get 3, and I guess that's it. So water, we're going to use water for now, except perhaps in some super rare cases where we like absolutely need a byproduct or something. In those cases, probably we can get mercury from redstone if absolutely needed, although every 10 redstone gives 3 mercury. Not the best deal in the world. Anyways, let's start by I guess plugging it in. And then to provide it with water, I'm going to make a reservoir. So I've been smelting up a little bit of fuse quartz. I need 1 more batch to finish. This, I think, is our most easily made infinite water source. So this, and ooh, do I have the 7 iron ingots it takes to make the cauldron? I sure hope so. 7, I have 6. Oh no, I have another stack. Okay, I would have been very sad if I ended up 1 ingot short. Anyways, that can act as an infinite water source. And then into here goes all of our bauxite, which, yikes, it's using a lot of energy, and that's even without upgrades. With upgrades, it straight up doesn't run because it doesn't get enough energy. Okay, well, I guess we get to run it without upgrades and let it be pretty slow. You can see it. I think it uses 256 RF a tick. Does this thing tell me? Input rate, energy change. I think it says so in the recipe. No, it uses 512 RF a tick. That's more power than we make, so we can't even run this at 100% uptime. But whatever. That makes aluminum dust. Then we can take our aluminum dust, run it through the blast furnace real quick. This is probably another case where I can't afford the speed upgrades. Indeed, we have to go without. But this will get us our first few aluminum ingots. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. There we go. And a quest complete. A frame, I like that. And iridium. Ooh, that sounds fancy. How much should I get? 2 iridium. I imagine we'll need various plants farmed throughout this series, so let's make more than just 1 garden cloche. 3, and what's keeping me from making glass shortage? Gotta have glass somewhere, right? Unfortunately, I think it's extra utilities or something that adds the search in nearby inventories button. Like, I can't search in nearby inventories in this pack because extra utilities isn't in the pack, which is resulting in me opening a lot of inventories to look for items. You can't smell that. There's 11 of these. Should be a good start. It'll also allow us to make like beetroots for food, sugar canes, cactuses, etc., etc. So let's set up a nice, neat line of them over. I guess these can go in the snow. So if they don't care about the weather, we may as well expose them to the weather. I'm just now noticing that this pack doesn't have drawers in it. It's been a long time since I've played a pack that doesn't have drawers, or even something similar like caches. Can't even find a trash can in this pack. Oh, okay, no, that's not true. There's the void something from Railcraft that can delete items. The void chest. So I guess there is definitely a trash can in the pack. But yeah, no drawers. Weird. But anyways, for now, I guess I'll just output directly into storage crates. The water for them will be provided by another reservoir, and then I think after we set up the production of like the basic plants, I want to take a detour and make some more power. So originally my plan was to try to hold out on power until we could make it to Mekanism, because there's the ethylene burning generator from Mekanism, which is by far, you know, it's super efficient, lovely. I adore it. However, the ethylene burning generator requires, well, a whole bunch of these steel casings to make, and it'll be some time before we can make like the, you know, multiple dozens of steel casings we need to get there. So while our 130 something RF per tick is doing its best, we're gonna need more power than that to make it to ethylene. Given that, I think I want to set up the Immersive Engineering biodiesel generator that'll make 4,000-ish RF a tick. Of the 4,000, it takes about 1,000 of it to power itself, so it makes about 3,000 RF a tick usable energy. But we can do it all renewably out of garden enclosures. Never mind, I've come up with a solution to the no drawers problem. We can just use mechanism bins and then hook them together with actual additions lasers to create a pseudo drawer system. We'll get there when we get there though, because these bins take a circuit each, and then the mechanism laser, well, the relays take a bunch of redstone obsidian to make the item lasers, and the interfaces take more redstone. Basically what I'm saying is we don't have the resources for that for now, but I'm hoping that once we make more energy and can automatically produce resources, that won't be an issue anymore. So now that we make the garden closure, next step is to make biofuel. Let's pin that up. Not that biofuel. Not this although, I mean, I guess this biofuel is an option. The industrial foregoing biofuel generator, as long as you give it if you give it 9 different items at a time, is extremely efficient, and we can just use 9 garden closures to grow its different things, right? Let's think. Does this tell me a bucket of biofuel will produce 160 RF a tick? Basically, 28 biofuel generator. Hold on, does this tell me 28 generators could be run off one bioreactor? Do bioreactors no longer need 9 different items for maximum efficiency? Produces power. No, wait, this is the biofuel generator. Never mind, I need the bioreactor tab. Here we go. So what we're provided with power and materials that will make biofuel. Each item will increase the efficiency, yada yada yada. So if you have 9 different items, you can run a bunch of stuff. But given that, this isn't. Oh nope, we can't make this yet because we don't have fermented spider eye access. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna get my first few spider eyes, honestly. Have we seen a witch yet? Don't remember. Anyways, instead of that, then we're gonna use the biodiesel generator. There we go, that's what we want. So biodiesel is made in a refinery with ethanol and plant oil. Plant oil is made from basically any type of seed. I think hemp, industrial hemp seeds just happen to be very good. So we'll use industrial hemp seeds to make plant oil. Ethanol can be made from... I typically do sugar. Well, I prefer melons if we can easily like unpack melons, because if we had compacting drawers, you can turn 1 big melon into 9 melon slices. But barring that, not having compacting drawers, I think sugarcane is probably just the next easiest thing. We can grow it it only grows itself, unlike all these things, right? Like if you try to grow potatoes, you have to deal with the periodic poisonous potato. So sugar canes for ethanol, industrial hemp for plant oil. Those are both in the squeezer. So we're going to need two... Wait, is it squeezer for this as well? Ethanol. No, we need a fermenter, a squeezer, and a refinery. All right, this is almost assuredly going to require a little bit of... a bit more iron and steel than I have. It's really nice that we can get this ender dust from tiny progressions just from mining. It can be used to make ender pearls. For now, we can only do 4-to-1. My ultimate goal is to make pulsating iron ingots, which we can do 1-to-1 with an alloy furnace, but we don't have an alloy furnace. So the alloy smelter, unfortunately, only accepts true ender pearls. So, oh well. Combine that with some iron, and then we can make my good old friend, the item conduit. Item conduit was probably once my favorite form of item transportation, although very recently the GregTech covers have overtaken it. Oh well. 1 ender pearl makes 24 item conduits, which is a pretty good deal in my opinion. Anyways, I built the three machines needed to make biofuel. While I was building them, I also had a bit of an epiphany. If I'm going to make biofuel, why don't I use it to make a lot of energy instead of a little bit of energy? Really, this epiphany came because I opened the manual to see like what blocks go into making the things, and I saw we had this button. Immersive Tech adds a boiler, steam turbine, and alternator combo, which can be run off biofuel. It uses, or it produces, I think under default config, something like 90,000 RF a tick. At least that's what it was in SevTech. And it uses less biofuel to do this than the diesel generator from Immersive Engineering by default. Now, you can go one step further, and instead of power it with a boiler, you can actually power it with any steam generator. But I don't... Well, let's see. Is there a... Just good old steam. Embers boiler. Embers. This is the way you're supposed to do it. I guess you could use a solar boiler. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a great way to make steam in this pack, short of, I mean, there's a Railcraft steam. Wonder if there's a... I don't know, whatever. We're gonna make biofuel, so we may as well just use the, do it all the Immersive Tech way. But what I'm saying is, this is not even the most broken way to abuse Immersive Tech. Honestly, the Immersive Tech energy system is super busted. But before we can get there, we have to actually get the various things into our squeezer and yada yada yada. So my plan is to put a, let's see, item interface here, and then hook some lasers up to it. So a laser goes here, and I need a laser on that one, and a laser on this one. Hook them together. And now this item interface sees the contents of those, of these crates. It's in that way, it's kind of like a drawer. So, or like a drawer controller. So let's move that to there so that I can walk underneath it. I need a fly to get around this base, and then I can just use filtered item conduits to extract from this into, I guess that slot. And where's the input slot on you? Probably should have built it facing the other way to make it easier to get to the input slot. My goal is to align the output slots. So by filtering seeds into here, as we see, we're a little energy strapped, but we'll fix that soon. These seeds get squeezed, sent into here as plant oil. Sugarcane gets fermented, also short on energy, but gets sent to here as ethanol. Eventually this all turns into biodiesel. We make biodiesel, even at this current rate, it's making it way, way, way faster than we'll consume it. So now we have biodiesel, we can access it from this port for automation. All right then, next step is to make steam. So the fundamental reason why this is so incredibly busted is that this turbine system completely breaks the convention for how much RF you should get from steam. Most mods give you 2 RF per millibucket of steam, like the thermal dynamos, as well as the Mekanism turbine. They give you 2 RF per steam. Maybe you can do slightly better with some upgrades, but it's around 2. The big reactors or extreme reactors nowadays breaks that completely. With their turbine, they give you 13, a bit over 13, I think, fully upgraded, a bit over 13 RF per millibucket of steam. The steam turbine here, I've only done the back of the napkin math. I think it's about 500. You get about 500 RF per millibucket of steam. That's how busted it is. It's 250 times better than a steam turbine. The downside, 27 steel sheet metal block. I mean, I guess, well, plus 10 steel blocks. In total, this is like, we're gonna need more steel. This is like three stacks of steel. There doesn't seem to be any cheeky way to make steel very easily right now, so we're just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, I guess. That is with an advanced coke oven and an advanced blast furnace. The preheaters appear to be slightly larger than I thought they were. I've kind of placed this in a way that I can't fit the the last preheater, and I can't just move this over a block. That's awkward. Well, shoot. I guess we're moving everything. That wasn't too bad. I just needed to make one more block space. I guess I didn't... Wait. I did leave 2 blocks between my machine saw. Those 2 blocks not enough. I don't know, whatever. Apparently I needed one more block between my coke oven and blast furnace. So we've managed to squeeze everything in, complete with their preheaters. Right now our preheaters are just barely not receiving enough power. There's a lot of power demand in the base right now. It might help if I turn these off, but these will turn themselves off pretty soon when the buffers all fill up. So, but yeah, between the preheaters requesting some power and everything else in the base, we're not quite running at full power, but this will make us steel. I think with preheaters, it's about 2 to 3 times as fast as the basic coke oven and blast furnace. But the big thing is now I don't have to manually empty out the blast furnace every couple of like hours. It used to be that after making 64 pieces of steel, right, you had to come empty it out and put new stuff in. Nope, now I can just toss my blocks of coal in here. You can feed it in via the top if you need to queue up more than a little bit at a time, you know, more than a stack at a time. Throw my iron in here, and then the iron and the coke, when it's done, get pulled into the blast furnace, where it'll start making steel. So every piece of coke should continue to make 10 pieces of steel. That means this 27 blocks of coal, 28 I guess because we just started one, will eventually process 280 pieces of steel. And I think, well, I know that'll be enough to make the turbine boiler jazz. So while we wait on that to process, let's just get started with the boiler first, I guess. The boiler itself shouldn't use that much steel, I hope. Steel scaffolding is about 1 steel each, so yeah, this is like 10-ish, 20 steel ingots. That's no big deal. All right, so anyways, does this tell me exactly how long fuel burns for? 1 bucket of water produces 500 millibuckets of steam. Weird that you get less steam than water, but don't ask. Consuming 1000 divided by burn time. What is burn time? I guess that's the burn time of the diesel? I don't know what the burn time of diesel is. I guess let's just test it and find out. Built the boiler, hooked it up to our biodiesel, and looking at it, it's really hard to tell how long it takes for it to, or how much steam it produces per millibucket. It seems to be about 100, although I can't say, like, I think it's using 2 millibuckets at a time, although I can't actually read that number when it's not 1200. Perhaps it'll be easier to check the config. Let's see. Boiler burn time modifier seems like the right one. A modifier to apply to the burn time of fuel in the boiler. This equation, 1000 divided by fuel burn time, which is 125. So 8 times 4 times the config value of 1. So 32 millibuckets per tick. It's definitely not burning 32 millibuckets per tick of fuel. Is that telling me it's making 32 millibuckets of steam per tick. Do I believe that? Maybe? Or is it 32 millibuckets of steam per millibucket of biodiesel? I don't actually know what I'm doing anymore. I guess we can measure this, right? If I break this pipe. No, so it's using 32 millibuckets per operation of biodiesel. And per operation, it's making 100 millibuckets of steam. So in that sense, it's actually a very inefficient steam generator. For each millibucket of steam, it basically uses 3 millibuckets of fuel. I guess you make up for it then with the other end of the system, which is an extremely efficient steam to power generator. Yeah, this boiler sucks. All right, well, whatever. If we're gonna take advantage of the super efficient part of the system, we may as well, pay the appropriate price to use the inefficient part of the system too. Anyways, this outputs steam. I think this top vent here, yeah, is steam out. For comparison's sake, I made a Railcraft boiler. This thing does accept biodiesel as a fuel. It took it about a bucket of biodiesel to get up to heat, but now the second bucket of biodiesel, I think when this bar fully depletes, it uses up the full bucket, has already produced 20 buckets of steam. So there is significant efficiency improvements to be had by swapping our generator over, or by our steam generator over from the Immersive Tech one to this this low pressure boiler. I think the low pressure one from Railcraft is more efficient than the high pressure one. It definitely produces steam faster as well, which is another upside. But yeah, I think it looks like altogether the steam boiler, excluding the bucket of fuel that went into heating it up, will produce something like, I don't know, 80,000 buckets of steam, so 80 to 1 ratio of input to output, as opposed to the 3 to 1 ratio. Immersive Tech just has some weird internal ratios going on. The bucket of biodiesel in here has burned up. It still shows up in the UI for whatever reason, but as you can see, it's not actually in there anymore. It's produced already 80 plus thousand millibuckets of steam, but because of residual heat, right, the fact that it got over 100 Celsius, it's continuing to boil water. So that probably partially makes up for the fact that the first bucket of biodiesel produced 0 buckets of steam, just heating the thing up. But still, point is, like, this steam boiler, way more efficient. And in fact, you know what, Immersive Tech, screw your boiler. I'm switching your boiler out for the Railcraft one. I went mining for a little bit to kill some time to let our blast furnace do its thing, and I've gathered up what I think is all the blocks for the the steam turbine. Alternator is the last step. So first of all, let's inhale some mushrooms because we gotta keep our radiation down somehow. And then build this. So it's kind of huge. Uses a whole lot of steel and other stuff. We're able to reduce the cost a little bit by recycling the blocks that I had previously built for the really bad boiler. Build it, then form it by right-clicking that. And then I suspect that there's the input. So pipe some steam into here, and we're off. So this thing doesn't have a UI as far as I can... Whoopsies. Ah, dang it. Oh, rip that pickaxe. I gotta not right click with that pickaxe so much. But I think it just... Is it always running? I'm not actually sure. Let's turn you off. The fluid flow should stop. No, it does not appear to be running. So I guess it only runs if it has somewhere to send the kinetic energy to. According to the book here, it produces 8192 newton meters of torque at a speed of 6144 radians per second. So remember these two numbers, 8192 and 6144. The energy produced by the alternator is the product of those two divided by 800. So I don't remember those numbers exactly anymore. 8192 times 6144, let's break out a calculator here. then divided by, was it 600? Is, divide by 800. Divided by 800 is 63,000. This thing produces 63,000 RF a tick. Yeah. Probably about time I made the Immersive Engineering metal press as well. It just more efficiently makes copper wires. The other stuff that can be made in the metal press almost universally can be duplicated with much faster machines, like the plate bending machine. Maybe there's some gears that can only be made in the metal press, but like most gears in this pack can be made just by hand. So if you can make it by hand, why do it in the metal press? But these wires are the one thing that the metal press has a unique advantage in. So here you go, metal press, do your thing. Slowly. Wouldn't want to rush you too much. All that's left then is to put in the alternator. So I'm pretty sure this is the way it goes. Let's just build it out. And then form the multi-block. And it's spinning, so I guess that's the spinning animation tells us that it's spinning. Sensible enough. Let's see about how fast it sips on fluid. I guess instead of turning off the extract, we can turn off the insert. Yeah. No, it hasn't sipped on any fluid at all. Oh, it stops spinning when the energy buffers are full. Okay, so each of these connection points here transfers, I think it's at 4,096 RF a tick. Yeah, so to extract all, what was it, like 60-some thousand RF per tick, we're going to need a lot of connections. Is that exact number? 62,009, so just under 63,000. Divide that by 4096 is 15 connection points. We're gonna have a hard time getting 15 connections here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on top. I guess we get, and then 8 on bottom. All right. What next? We have to see what type of energy thing can even transfer 4,096 per connection. Our basic universal cables cannot, and I don't think we can upgrade to advanced yet because that requires a metallurgic infuser. Was going to just use hardened flux ducts. They only do 4,000 a tick, which means we won't quite get all the energy out of it. I guess with 8 connections, 4,000 a tick is probably enough. But turns out neither basic universal cables nor hardened flux ducts actually connect to them. I might have to use immersive engineering capacitors, I guess. It looks like they are willing to connect to immersive engineering capacitors. Question is, will they connect on this side as well? No, they won't. So I can get at most 6 connection points to it. With 6 connection points, it's literally impossible to withdraw all the energy, right? Am I crazy? But these are default configs, by the way. The alternate, and it can output 4096 flux per tick per energy device connected. I guess we can use like phantom faces to get more out of it. With the exception that phantom faces require the empower and like a metric boatload of ender pearls that I don't have. So I guess we can't use phantom faces. For now then I'll settle for just connecting 6 HV capacitors. These 6 little things, maybe you can put one on top. No, there's not a connection point there. These 6 little like upside down smiley faces are the only places it seems we can plug stuff in. Well, no sense sweating the small stuff. What's that? Looks like a snowman, but no, that's what's on his head? Oh, it's a hat. Guy just has a hat. Give me your hat. I want it. Thank you. Anyways, as I was saying, no sense fighting the small stuff. We'll just accept the fact that we can't get 100% of the energy out of this thing. And that's going to have to be... Excuse me, you don't have a hat. I'm not interested in you. Stop. Why am I taking so much radiation? Does getting hit by those things cause extra radiation? Or is this biome here just... I guess getting hit causes extra radiation poisoning. Alright, well, I guess I should try to get hit by those less. Seems like a reasonable goal anyways. pump steam back into the turbine. Turbine does its spinema thing. This thing produces its energy, and yeah, we're wait, opposite side input, opposite side input, opposite side input. All right. What I'm doing is just extracting out of multiple faces of each of these capacitors. So an HV capacitor is capable of doing well over, I think it's capable of doing like 8,000 per face. So it's able to keep our, by connecting on 3 sides, our bottleneck is a universal cable, but 3 times 12.8 is close enough to the 4,000 that we can get out of the alternator that I'm not worried about it. So this should allow us to produce enough energy to power all of our energy-based things. And well, I couldn't tell you exactly how much... Is this off now? Oopsies. Well, I couldn't tell you exactly how much RF we're getting per bucket of biodiesel right now. I can assure you it's a lot. So our energy situation is, I'd say, in good shape. For the foreseeable future, we're getting 6 times 4100, so like 25,000 RF per tick out of the alternator. But when we need more, I'll probably have access to phantom faces, at which point I suspect I can phantom face to one of these alternator blocks and then extract the rest of the energy through that. So yeah, with that, well, I don't know, I guess it doesn't use RF, right? It uses, I think the reason it only connects to the immersive engineering stuff, like it'll probably connect to cables just fine as well, is because immersive engineering uses IF or like immersive flux or something. So maybe phantom faces don't work. Immersive flux is 1-to-1 translatable with RF, and generally speaking, it's kind of like how Actual Editions uses CF, crystal flux. It's the same thing by a different name, right? You see down here, it calls it crystal flux. Whatever. You use your fancy resource. But whatever, 24,000, 25,000 RF a tick is plenty, and it, all things considered, it sips on fuel. So I suspect this thing probably has yeah, like it's completely backstuffed already. So this thing, like it sips on fuel so incredibly slow that I'm sure our biofuel system can power at least 4, maybe even like 10 steam turbines, but I don't have nearly enough steel to make all of that. So anyways, enough of me ranting. I think we're out of time for today, and I'm gonna have to leave my game running for some time in order to get more steel. It's somewhat unfortunate actually that my game is running in single player, so I can't just like chunk load the world and log off. If I'd stay logged in, we'll obviously get more steel, but it also poisons me. So we kind of... Speed is more important than usual, I think, when it comes to steel production in this pack. But I guess that's a good thing. That encourages us to make more efficient forms of production. Anyways, that's all the time I got for today. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.